Did you talk to the lady?
Okay, hi, my name is Atia Ball. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I attend Howard University. And I think that it's a blessing from God that Farrakhan is here today. I think he has a message every time he comes that everybody needs to hear, everybody, especially young black people like me today. And I think that it's a blessing, and I hope he come back and bring his messages as much as possible, as many times as he can. I love Farrakhan.
Frederick Massey is my name. I'm a minister at Wesley Union African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I have come all the way from Harrisburg to Washington in order to hear the message that will be brought by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Certainly it is a message from God for our people for this time. So my soul is fired up. I'm looking to my left now, and here come some more people from Harrisburg, Muslim brothers as well as my Christian brothers, and they're here coming strong. So we're anticipating a powerful explosion in our dear beloved friend and brother, the Minister Louis Farrakhan. Peace and blessings.
I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's here. He hasn't come here since I've been here. I think it's about time that he's come and speak to the students, to uplift them, to give them an idea of what's going on and what we need to be doing in the black community. He's a strong force, and I'm glad he came.
I think it's a good thing. I'm always for trying to listen to the opinions of all black people, all black leaders in particular, and trying to learn something from them, and to use that knowledge towards my individual betterment, the advancement of my education, and my future contributions to the black community.
I've never heard him speak, and I just wanted to hear what his philosophy was all about. And that's why I'm here tonight.
I think it's a blessing for all of humanity. Thank you.
Heard a lot of great things about how he's trying to unify the black community, and I really need to be enlightened about that.
I think it's an excellent idea that Farrakhan has come to Howard University to speak. I think he's the most boldest, most courageous black man, not only black man, but man, period, on the earth today.
I think it's a very positive event because here on this campus is our future for tomorrow, and they need to get the message that he wants to deliver so they'll know how to help the young ones that are coming up behind them so that we can try to unify as a race and get on with better things than shooting and killing each other.
They're doing a great job to the community and advising people on awareness about white America and what we should be doing, trying to power ourselves. And I think tonight will be a great event for all people to attend tonight.
I just think that as a group of people, we are sometimes mentally unconscious. And whether you agree with Farrakhan or not, you will wake up when you hear him. You definitely wake up. And I think that's great. And I think that's great to have it here in D.C.
But as we wait for our leader and teacher, let us reflect, brothers and sisters, on the hour in which we gather tonight. You have come from far and near, northeast, southeast. You have come from Maryland and Virginia. Some of you have come from different cities on the East Coast. Why have you come? You have come because you know that your president, you know that your leader, the man that speaks to you and gives direction to the black nation, is not old slick Willie Clinton, but he is the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. We don't want to be disrespectful to the president, but that's what white folks call him. And so if they think he's that, then I think you and I should take a hint from them, I think. But brothers and sisters, the man that you will hear tonight is a man that has given his life for black people. He has worked for 40 years to see this black nation lifted up. He has sacrificed his time, his effort, his family. He has worked tirelessly to see the black man and the black woman liberated from the mud of the white man's civilization. And we should forever be thankful for a leader like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Do you agree with what I'm saying? All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, we have been a people that have been hard on leadership. We, in our greatness and beauty, have produced some of the greatest leadership that you can imagine. If you read David Walker's appeal, it's right on time for today, but we did not back David Walker as we should have We did not hold him up and defend that great giant like we should have. We got to back Farrakhan today because he is David Walker on the scene and then some. Brothers and sisters, how many of us watch the great and honorable Marcus Garvey be deported, his name discredited, his reputation destroyed? Why? Because the white man said he was a crook. But today we know he was not a crook. Today we know he was a man that said Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. He is the father of black nationalism. We owe him a debt of gratitude. He is gone, but Farrakhan is here. Let us stand with the modern Marcus Garvey and then some. Brothers and sisters, how many of us were affected by the lies and the deceit of the white man's media when they spoke about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and the great brothers of the 1960s as disrespectful men, or men that cared nothing for us, only cared about their personal wealth. We stoned them. We rejected them. We repudiate them. And when the government came in and shot Fred Hampton and Mark Clark down, we didn't respond properly. We let those giants die. But today, we've got to stand with a man that is doing what Mark Clark and Fred Hampton did, and then some, and that is the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. We can go down the road. We can say that we did not stand like we should have with all of the great leaders of the past. But today, we are standing with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and we will help that man to be successful where the other ones were not. Brothers and sisters, I close saying to you that this is a great hour for black people. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan will deliver a State of the Union address, not to white people, but to the black man and woman, because we need direction in this hour. Pay close attention. Listen carefully to what he has to say, for he is a divine leader and teacher in our midst today. Brothers and sisters, there's a double standard in America. And if we don't back black leadership, we cannot defeat that double standard. Down in Waco, Texas, or is that Waco? Some crazy, self-deluded white man thinks he's Jesus. This crazy man led a war against the state, killed 4 of the federal agents. But today, instead of bombing them as they did our brothers and sisters of MOVE in Philadelphia, they are waiting till they are ready to come out. That is a damn double standard that we cannot accept and tolerate, and our unity will help us defeat that. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan is our leader and teacher, and we must back him to fight the enemies of our people. I leave you saying that all over America, black people are coming to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. All over America, dentists, doctors, lawyers, but all over America, janitors, sanitation workers, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, teachers, every field and profession of black people is now turning to the nation concept that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is representing. I say to you that your place is in the Nation of Islam. The nation is you. The nation is me. And we must stand together for once in our lives and build a nation so our children can grow up free, independent, and justified with the peoples of the earth. Thank you for listening as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. And before I leave, I want to thank and recognize the ministers of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Stand up, ministers, wherever you are and wherever you're from. We want to thank the hard-working, hard-driving soldiers of Islam, the ministers of the Nation of Islam.
We want to now hear from the national spokesman of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We want to hear from a man who is taking on the genocide plans of the white man, a conspiracy called AIDS. Huh? Talk back to me. Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad and we who back him are waging a war on AIDS. We have not been defeated, and we will not be defeated. We are rolling right along. Are you with Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad? Do you love Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad? Are you with Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad? Bring on the Minister of Health and Human Services, Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad.
About 10 minutes. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the All-Wise, the True, and the Living God, the giver of the gift of life and the causer of death, the God who is our Savior today, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, raising up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. In their names and in the names of righteous men and women throughout the world, in the names of our ancestors and our children, I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. And how is everyone this evening? I too am fine, giving thanks and praise to Allah, working hard in His name, trying to make my word my bond. Now I know that this is the final call crowd. Is that right? Everybody in here reads the final call. Is that right? The greatest black newspaper in the world. Matter of fact, it's the greatest newspaper, period. Black or white. But now I know some of you read the Washington Post because you want to keep up with the enemy news as well. Is that right? And if you read the Washington Post, the front page said to the world what Dr. Barbara Justice and I and other black doctors have been saying for years. They said today, get it if you haven't seen it, AZT does not work. Last April, 1992, the Health and Human Services Department, under the leadership, if you will, of Dr. Lewis Sullivan, published a report that said Chemron don't work. Chemron was developed in 1989 by Dr. David Koech in Kenya. Even though he was trained in Harvard, and Dr. Carter G. Woodson said Harvard has ruined more good Negroes than all the bad whiskey in the world, yet, despite the disadvantage of having attended Harvard, Dr. David Koech went back to Kenya, and when he realized that AIDS was destroying Kenya, he went into the laboratory and came up with an answer to this problem that nobody else had been able to come up with. He came up with Chemron and proved that it worked in 97% of the cases over in Africa. And then Dr. Barbara Justice and others went to Kenya, and I went in 1991 because we had heard through the black press right here in Washington, D.C. about Chemron. And we went there trying to get some of it and found out that the manufacturers of Chemron, which are the Japanese, had cut our brothers and sisters off, and so none of this medication was available. And so we came back with another medication called Immunex that is even an improvement on Chemron. And we began to use that. And despite what the federal government has said, that alpha interferon products like these are not supposed to work, that AZT is supposed to work, our clinical research began to accumulate data that showed very dramatically that it does work. And so even though HHS a year ago, April, put out a very thick report, very negative towards Chemron and Immunex, Allah blessed Dr. Justice and I and Dr. Aubrey to meet with the officials at the National Institutes of Health in October. We didn't have a big, thick report. We went with a single sheet of paper. But what was written on this sheet of paper was so heavy that they had to, with great embarrassment, with quite a bit of egg on their face, eating a healthy serving of crow, NIH had to go on national TV and admit that there might just be something to this Qumran, and that in fact it deserved to be studied. And so even though the pace is very, very slow, brothers and sisters, I want you to know that we are proceeding with those clinical trials. And I know that you were exposed to some very negative propaganda just a few months ago on primetime lies, or the slime time lies, trying to discredit me, trying to discredit Dr. Barbara Justice, but they can never discredit the truth. And so we are moving on, and we are fighting the good fight, and we are here to tell you that this medication is very effective, especially if we are able to treat someone in the early stages of HIV infection. Now, I don't have a lot of time, but I just want to mention two things before I sit down. As bad as AIDS is, as bad as HIV is, don't you think for 1 minute that that is the only weapon that is arrayed against you. Listen, John Wayne carried a 6-shooter. That meant if the first shot missed, he had 5 other shots. So now, if we really believe that AIDS is man-made, do you think that they only made one model? The CDC, the same outfit that carried out the infamous Tuskegee experiment with syphilis beginning in 1932 and running for 40 years until 1972. This outfit had to admit that there are several other viruses that are out in the community. AIDS used to be called HTLV3. That means that there was an HTLV1 and an HTLV2. HTLV1 causes an acute form of leukemia. HTLV2 causes a hairy cell leukemia, as it's called. There is no test for HTLV1 or HTLV2, but we know from recent research done that in the island of Jamaica, for example, 6% of the population is already infected with HTLV1, and it produces an acute leukemia, which means that it is rapidly fatal in about 3 months. And there are pockets of infection from these other viruses throughout the black world, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in South America, and right here in the United States. What am I trying to say to you very quickly? When God blessed David Koresh to develop a proper use of interferon, I don't know whether he knew it or not, but he had looked up on the very substance that the United States Army unit on biological warfare is using as an antidote to these biological viruses that have been used as weapons against our people. Let me say that again. Whether David Koresh knew it or not, he bumped up on the very substance that is the antidote to the viruses that have been developed as biological weapons against black people all over the world. And so it's not surprising that they cut off the supply of Qumran, and it's not surprising that lately we found ourselves cut off from Immunex, because they don't want us to have in our hands that which would save our lives against their plot of genocide. But they plan a plan, and Allah plans a plan, and Allah is the best of planners. And so what we have in this little bottle here is Immuviron. This is alpha interferon. It's just like Cameron. It's just like Immunex. Only thing is, we don't get it from way over there. But the Nation of Islam is producing this right here. And so we will never be cut off. We will never be cut off. And we are going to continue our work and our research because we literally must save our own lives. No one will do it for us. And so in my conclusion, there is circulating among you a petition. This is a very important petition that we hope that you will sign. The clinic has applied for funding from the city of Washington. We just asked for $865,000, that's all. We didn't ask for the $12 million that goes to the Walker Whitman Clinic, just $865,000. That's all we're asking for. Because look what we have been able to do with nothing, other than the little bit of donations that have come in as a result of fundraisers in 1992 from WOL and others who have seen the good of what we're trying to do, and they've tried to support it. But why should not the Abundant Life Clinic receive some support from the city of Washington, D.C., which has one of the highest rates of AIDS in the country? But you know they're playing games like they always play games. And so the word that we get from our inside spies is that they intend to turn us down, because they think they can turn us down and nobody will say anything about it. But I want to hear from you. So would you please, as this petition circulates, would you please put your name on it? And if you represent an organization or a church or a school, would you please take a blank one and take it back to your club or your organization or your school or your church and have the members sign this petition. And then at the proper time, we hope to be able to drop a whole bundle of these petitions on the mayor's desk so that she will get a message loud and clear that the people believe in the Abundant Life Clinic and that they appreciate the work that the Abundant Life Clinic is doing, because in fact the life you save may be your own. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. In their names I greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters, with the greetings of peace and of paradise. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, we can't continue a moment longer as we eagerly anticipate the arrival of our principal speaker to this podium. We can't go on a moment longer without thanking God for blessing us in the 1990s with in our midst a leader, teacher, and guide like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. For whether you have come from near or far, whether you agree in a whole or agree in part or disagree in total, you know that the lot of black America as a people is better because of the presence of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. And I thank Allah for you having been here with us tonight. But as you anticipate, and I anticipate, and our anxiousness for the arrival of our principal speaker mounts, let me just say these few words of reminder. And I am grateful to be in such exalted assembly as is gathered here tonight. But brothers and sisters, if we move on and grow as a nation, we'll find that we are in a unique position. We'll find that in America, in 1993, the first time that any group of former slaves, as large as we are, as diverse as we are, as talented yet unrealized as we are, as potentially powerful but actually weakened as we are, for the first time in the history of the world, a whole nation of former slaves is rising up and assuming nationhood in the midst of the people where they once were a slave. There is no record of this. anywhere else in the scripture. Others have gone free and established great nationhood, but you and I are growing up a great nation in the midst of the people who have enslaved us, and this is the cause for at once great wonderment and also great ill at ease. For as you have the mind to think for yourself, I'll ask you to think for a moment with the mind of your slave master. I want to ask you to think like white folks for just a moment. It shouldn't be that hard now. We've been doing it for 400 years. I'm just going to ask you to think like white folk. Y'all all right? And put our white folks hat on and think for a moment. If you were white folks and you saw people that you had denied the opportunity to read, right. If you saw people that you had beaten down and bludgeoned and robbed them of their names, their language, their culture, their God, their folkways, their mores, their religion, everything that they had that made them a people, if you put them in substandard housing and fed them filthy food, if you took this people now and made them haters of self and exalters of you, if you took this people and made them basketball players, boxers, football players, track runners, singers, dancers, pantomimes and mimes, if you took this people and reduced them to this great level, yet after 430 years you saw them coagulating, coming together as a people and starting to say, we remember what you did and we know what we must do for ourselves, wouldn't you be frightened to death? Wouldn't you be frightened to death? Just think over this. You got a whole nation of black people who yesterday we couldn't unite. But here we are in the Byrd Gymnasium on the campus of the Mecca of black higher education. Here we are in the Byrd Gymnasium coming together. Now you got an Alpha sitting next to a Kappa. You got an Omega sitting next to a Sigma. You got an NAACP shaking hands with the Urban League, smacking a high five with the Black Nation of Islam. Is that right? Something going on in America. When you come to the Byrd Gymnasium on the campus of Howard University and you find that those students who came here from Los Angeles up out of the streets of that city, some of them were Crips and some of them were Bloods, but at Howard University we're brothers. When you find us today coming from Chicago, we used to be gangster disciples and vice lords, but now we're black men and black women. When you see us, some of us used to be from the Hill Boys crew on 51st and D. Oh, I didn't know I knew about that one, huh? Some of the rest of us used to be from the R Street crew and the P Street crew, but now we're coming all together and the whole alphabet soup spells unity for the black man and woman. We're getting together and doing something better for ourselves. All praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Give yourselves a black hand. Are you ready to hear from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? Are you ready to hear from the boldest black man on the 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth? Let's prepare to bring him on. I ain't even gonna give a long speech. Let's hear from the messenger of Allah. Let's hear from the wisest, most powerful, fearless black man in our midst. Let us hear from the boldest leader we have ever had in the history and the hells of America. Make some noise if you want to hear the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Make some noise if you want to hear Louis Farrakhan. All praise is due to Allah. Here he is. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. We thank him for raising up in our midst a divine leader, teacher, and guide, the messenger of Allah, the Messiah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. To Brother Malik, Zulu, and the Unity Nation, those who sponsored this event tonight, to all of the distinguished platform guests, and to you, my dear brothers and sisters, and of course my gratitude to the FOI and the MGT, who constantly travel to look after their brother. And it's my honor to be your brother in this great work of the redemption of our people. Our thanks and to the Honorable Marion Barry for his presence tonight. Marion, sir, and Rock Newman, Hamza Muhammad, and the Dean of Students, Raymond Archer, to Ackland Lynch. Where's Ackland? It's good to see you. And to Sheikh Sharif, and to all of the Muslims who are present, regardless of our shades of difference, and to all of our Christian brothers and sisters who are present. We are at a very critical point in our history. And America is at a very critical point in her history. How we move in these next few years will determine the future course of our people for many, many years to come. We don't have time to waste on emotional rhetoric. We only have time to think sanely and wisely about a future for ourselves and our people. Regardless to the political talk, America is suffering. And from my vantage point, America lies on her deathbed in dire need of right guidance. The political leaders who have the ear of government and the American people have failed to guide this nation aright. The religious leaders, with all due respect, have failed to guide this nation and her people aright. And the schools of learning have also failed to prepare men and women to guide this nation through the turbulent times that are present and times that are worse that are just ahead. If you examine America's vital signs, you will see that these signs show that America is steadily on the decline. And the root of America's suffering is a basic immorality tied to the word vanity, where greed, lust, and an inordinate self-interest to the detriment of others has become America's way of life.
Yes, sir. All right.
Corporate America cares only for herself.
That's right. Come on.
Though she has become rich and powerful on the backs of the American worker,
Yeah.
corporate America is not willing to share some of her profits with the American worker. She would rather close down her factory
That's right.
and open her factories up in Mexico or in Taiwan or in other third world nations, leaving the American cities
That's right. Yes, sir.
without factories and the American worker without a job.
That's right. Come on. Right.
Black people being most dependent on white America for our survival. As white America declines, we fall into steep decline because of our dependent status. In this battle for self-interest, the first casualty is truth. The leaders in the society hide the truth from the American people. If the leaders of the society hide the truth from the American people, if God raises anyone from among us to tell the truth, they will cast a veil over that person so that you won't know the truth, that the truth may free you from the chains of ignorance that bind us to a slavish mentality and a deeply immoral lifestyle that has produced almost the total destruction of the black community. Brother Farrakhan is called everything but what he is. Not because I am that, but I am called that in hopes that the more intelligent ones among us who read the garbage that is written by the writers in this world will turn away from their brother. And the more unlearned who take their guidance from the learned will mimic or mouth the ignorance of the learned, so that the prevailing view of white America becomes the prevailing view of black leadership. And then that view is forced upon our people by the writers, our scholars. So in the end, we don't think. We are trained parrots to quote what others say. But God is moving today among the masses of our people in a way that the elite are frightened. In Europe, in Romania, a few years ago, when the Romanian leader Ceausescu was basking in the power of his office, the CIA, Mossad, British intelligence, Russian intelligence, nobody could predict the domino effect of the breakup of the Soviet Union and the Eastern European countries. So with all of their intelligence, a movement was going on among the masses of the people that the learned did not give due credence or weight to. So one after another, governments began to fall. Nations turned in revolt against themselves. The Soviet Union's breakup has given the Western world a joyous feeling. But my brothers and sisters, it is the lull before the storm. Because the breakup of the Soviet Union has not made the world a safer place. It has made the world a more dangerous place because of the proliferation of strategic nuclear weapons now in the hands of those whom America and the Western world would never want to have nuclear weapons.
That's right.
The Asian economies are the fastest growing economies in the world.
Listen.
They are saying, according to reports, that shortly after the year 2000, China will have raised the standard of living of over 1,300,000,000 Chinese beyond even the expectations of the Western onlookers, and challenge Japan for supremacy economically. Whole munitions factories have been bought, according to reports, by China from the Soviet Union. They don't know whether China has bought some of the strategic nuclear weapons or whether China has paid for and gotten some of the nuclear scientists of Russia. Iran has nuclear submarines, and they don't know whether Iran has nuclear weapons. So Japan, Korea, China, Malaysia, the Southeast Asian group is on the rise. Shiploads of plutonium are on their way to Japan, supposedly, so that the Japanese may set up nuclear energy plants. But have the Japanese forgotten Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Or is this a pretext so that the Japanese may become a great nuclear power? And if Japan and China unite, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said they would, then what kind of power will Asia exert as Europe begins to break apart? And there is a possibility that war will break out in Europe like war has never been seen before. And what effect will this have on Africa? And what effect will this have on you in white America as you struggle for justice, equity, and freedom among a people who are frightened by your increase in numbers, your rise in intelligence, and your rise in fearlessness as seen in the gangs or the development of so-called gangs in America? And if the gangs sit down at the table of peace without white intervention and make peace, then an army is developing among our people. Who will guide it? Where shall we go from here? What are you at Howard for? What are you learning? Where is your future? What shall we do today to prepare for tomorrow? These are questions. As the breakup of the Soviet Union has given Western powers and America a feeling that we can cut back on the military budget because of America's ailing economy. And of course, they're closing bases in America, and they're cutting back on troops. And you know that the only real employer of black men has been the federal government and the United States Armed Forces. So, if they close down bases, cut back the armed forces in Europe, then of the 100,000 or 150,000 soldiers that will be relieved of duty, how many of them are black who have been trained to kill and come home to the streets of America, and there are no jobs for you, much less them? What is the future? It doesn't look too good. The black leadership is used to a benevolent white person in the White House that will offer us little trinkets and toys and little handouts that make us feel that things are going to get better. But Mr. Clinton is warning all black leaders, all white leaders, there's nothing to be given. We have to raise the taxes. We have to trim the federal budget. We have to cut back all the pork barrel spending because America is in trouble. And when a ship is in trouble and it begins to sink, the things that are dumped to keep it afloat are the things that are not so necessary. And the things that are of top priority, we hold on to them till last. But the things that have no priority but are taking up space and have weight to sink the ship, we dump that useless cargo. And in that regard, the black people in America as a whole are a useless cargo. Unlearned, unskilled, untrained, but a spirit is moving among us that makes us unwilling to be the same old tool and the same old fool and the same old slave that we were in times past. America's economy has been severely crippled for the long term, and at present the economy of the United States is in a state of grave disrepair. The federal debt, which is basically the cumulative sum of each year's budget deficit, is now a little over $4 trillion. Now, you know, we have trouble dealing in thousands. Some of us can't imagine what $4 trillion in deficit is. This means that America is running a current federal deficit of between $400 and $500 billion each year that America does nothing to balance her budget. The current budget for federal spending is a little over $1.5 trillion, but the government collects only a little over $1 trillion in taxes. Well, if the federal budget is $1.5 trillion, and America only collects $1 trillion in taxes, it's elementary, my dear Watson, that you can't spend more than you take in lest you keep piling up what? More and more debt. Well, tell me, if America is piling up this kind of debt, how are things getting paid? The interest alone in servicing the federal debt was $288 billion in 1991. Nearly 1/3 of what America collects in taxes has to go to service the debt. So you only have, after servicing the debt, $750 billion that can be used
to suffice the needs of the American people. Now, how do they finance this debt? How do they keep making money to spend on what they're not taking in? Now, this is not an economics 101 class, but we want to look at the state of black America inside the state of white America. Now, the federal debt, brothers and sisters, is financed by issuing government securities, such as treasury bills and savings bonds. So when the government needs money, it borrows from people who can buy securities. Is that you? You don't own any T-bills, do you? No, not you. So now, who are these people that America is borrowing from? She's borrowing from the rich and the middle class. So the rich in America and those foreign governments that can afford it buy government securities and get paid interest from the increased indebtedness of America. And most of the government securities that are issued, about 70% of them have short-term maturities. In other words, the securities have to be paid in 1 to 5 years. But because the government cannot repay the debt within the short term, it is forced to refinance the debt by issuing more securities. So the rich who can buy the securities hold the American taxpayer in perpetual debt, as the debt is continually being refinanced. The taxpayers become the slaves to the debt held by the rich. Now, you know, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, that debt is slavery. I'll say it again. Debt is slavery. Well, the Bible says, as thou hast done, so shall it be done unto you. You lead into captivity, you go into captivity. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You sow the wind, but you reap the whirlwind. Now, she who brought us into slavery is now a slave to the rich of this nation. This is why Reagan Bush could not offend corporate America or the rich, because they are the rich, and the rich look out for one another. This is why Mr. Clinton is talking about lobbyists and interest groups, because they get laws passed to protect their wealth at your and my expense, and at the expense of poor white folks. Guess what? About a third of the total federal debt is financed by surpluses in other government agencies and accounts, such as Social Security, railroad retirement insurance, and pension funds. Do you know what this means? Every time you work, they take some of your money and say it's Social Security, baby. Come on. Come on. So when you get to 65, which you probably will never make, you will get Social Security retirement benefit. You know, it's like the lottery. Really, it is. I know that some of you play lotto, and you think that those numbers are really for you. Bless your heart. And you hear that there's a pot of $86 million in Miami or Florida. So you get out of town with $5,000 to buy up every kind of ticket, and it takes you a year to think of the numbers. Because you probably didn't learn to count that high. A little fun, you know, but it's very, very serious. Now check this. The persons that win have so much money coming into their lives that they are ill prepared to handle. A young man, he's 34 years old, he won the lotto for $44 million. He's dead now. He just won it 4 years ago, but he's dead now. And they make it so that you can't get the money so you can assign it to your heirs.
That's right.
So if you die, which they're gambling that you will die, because a fool, his money and his life will soon part. You know? So now, when America is in debt, a check is written against the excess money in government accounts. A check is written against the accounts that was set up for the people who worked hard all their lives so that they could have something on retirement if they lived to retire. This is really sad.
That's right.
And so much of that money is already gone that they're worried now that some of us may get to 65, retire, and have nothing. This is what is meant when they say America has mortgaged her future. During the campaign, Perot did not lie to you. Clinton told more truth than Bush. During the campaign, Perot did not lie to you. Clinton told more truth than Bush. But Perot told more truth than Clinton. Perot had nothing to lose. He understands he's a billionaire. He could spend some of his interest to get elected. Americans today can't save or invest because taxes eat up what little disposable income the people have. Taxes that are needed to cover government spending. The United States of America right now has the lowest savings and investment rates of any of the industrialized countries. The national savings rate is just 15% of the gross national product, while Japan's is nearly 35%. The people who can save the most have the most money to invest. And when you can save and invest, you can create business opportunities. But here we are inside America with our gross income of a nearly $300 billion a year. But we have very little to show for that in terms of saving or investment. So the poor brothers and sisters, 5 of you, 6 of you, 8 of you can't get together in a room and say, let's put up $5,000 a piece and open up a grocery store. Or let's put up $5,000 a piece and open up a laundromat. Let's put up $10,000 a piece and open up a giant supermarket. You can't hardly go to anybody that has liquid cash that you can unite with and get into business and do something for yourself. Your disunity and your lack of intelligent use of what money you have has put us in a position where we are unable to make a future for ourselves and our children. We are angry with the Palestinians. We are angry with the Arabs. We are angry with the Koreans. They just got to America a few days ago. But they own the businesses in our community. Whose fault is that? Is that theirs or is it ours? With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, politics has been for us like a beauty contest.
That's right, that's right.
We don't know how to make our politicians accountable to us, nor do we back them when we elect them. We allow outside people to bankroll our politicians' campaigns and then wonder why they do the bidding of outside communities and leave our community leaderless, powerless, voiceless. What is our problem? Is our problem white racism? Wait. We know that the institutions of America, for the most part, are racist. We know that. But is that what's holding us back? Come on now. Can an institution hold down people? If the people are united, intelligent, you have power with knowledge to overcome any obstacle in our path. Our enemy is not racist institutions. Our enemy is the woeful ignorance of the black community of self and others and the time and what must be done. Look, brothers and sisters, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
This is not the usual Farrakhan lecture. You know, but I'm not interested in applause. I really never have been. And while it makes me feel so nice that you cheer me and all, you know, it's so satisfying, you know, if that's if what I am, an entertainer. But my greatest desire is to see the level of intelligence of our people raised. Because regardless to what happens after this lecture tonight, if the level of intelligence of those of us who are united here in this auditorium is raised, then the potential for change is greater than it was before. The destiny of black people is not in the hands of Bill Clinton. The destiny of black people is in our hands. And we alone can determine what that destiny is We can allow others to determine it for us if we remain in the valley of ignorance. But if we choose to eradicate ignorance with knowledge, then there is no power in the heavens above or in the earth below that can stop us from achieving what the Creator has already determined for his creatures. Now, let's look at this word ignorance. And the man Elijah Muhammad that many of us have not paid attention to. We admire Elijah Muhammad's students, but we shy away from the teacher. We admire Malcolm X, and we look down on his teachers. We admire Louis Farrakhan, but we look down on his teacher. You have to understand where Malcolm got the power from. In order for you to get the same power to do for yourself what Malcolm was enabled to do by the grace of God with an 8th grade education. Malcolm didn't graduate from Howard. Malcolm came here to teach the Howard students as well as the professors. Wait. So Malcolm didn't get what he got from a dictionary. He read the dictionary. Malcolm knew black history better than most who teach it. But black history and reading the dictionary did not enable Malcolm X to transform his life from street hustler, pimp, and criminal to a man of high intelligence and moral character, and gave Malcolm the power to transform other human lives. You don't learn that in a dictionary, and you don't get that from Harvard, Yale, or Radcliffe. That is something that you don't get at all in this world. That comes from a higher reality. Please understand this. Farrakhan is a student of Elijah Muhammad.
Listen. Better listen.
I'm not a graduate of college. College did not make Farrakhan. But I'm a made man.
Yes, sir.
And you have to say, you admire the mold that I'm made in, but I'm not made by the universities of this world. I am made by Elijah Muhammad. Now, what kind of mold? Wait a minute. What kind of mold did Elijah have to make a Farrakhan and a Malcolm and thousands of others, and then turn me loose in America and the world, that with a word out of my mouth, I am transforming by the power of God the lives of tens of hundreds of thousands of black men and women. That doesn't come from reading a book. You say, well, Farrakhan, you got it from the Quran. You got it from the Bible. You got the Bible and your life is not transformed. You got a Bible in every room in your house and your life is not transformed. You've been reading the Bible since you were a baby, and you've been quoting the Bible and having it quoted to you since you were a baby, but you're still the same old Negro, nigger, and colored boy that the white man made. The Bible didn't transform your life. And the Quran has not transformed the lives of 90% of the Muslims who say they believe in it. The reading of the Quran has not transformed the Islamic world. It did in the days of Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Allah says in the Quran, he it is who sent his messenger with the guidance and the true religion. You got the true religion, but where's the guidance?
Listen. Go ahead,
Malcolm was a well-guided man. And I'm in the house of my enemies. And they can't touch me. Not because they don't have power to do it. There's somebody of greater power.
Come on. Think about it.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that 85% of the people are poison animal eaters, ignorant, believing in a mystery God, some unknown spook that inhabits outer space. And they sit around on the earth paying homage to an unknown reality while they go and beg others who know the law of cause and effect to provide them with food, clothing, and shelter. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us of the 85%, the 10%, and the 5%, he was not dealing with color. He was dealing with percentages of the human family of the earth. That 85% of white folk are ignorant. And they are used by 10% of their people who know the truth and refuse to teach that truth to the masses of their people. 85% of our people are in ignorance. 10% know and suck the blood of those who don't know. Are you listening? These institutions that prepare you, they don't prepare you with moral character. So you become a doctor, but a lying, thieving doctor. You become a lawyer, but a lying, thieving lawyer. You become a businessman, but a lying, thieving businessman. There's no moral character where you love right enough that you will practice medicine for the benefit of your community. Because you're trained with a mentality that if you know and your brother doesn't know, you take advantage of his ignorance. And that's why when you got people of substance with money, you have to place people of wisdom and moral character around them to protect them.
That's right. Right.
Because the enemy will allow you to get money, but he won't allow you the wisdom of how to use it. And if you have wisdom, he'll keep money from you. Because wisdom with money makes power. Hold on. Now, if 85% of the people are ignorant of the reality of God, that is a powerful ignorance. Because if somebody knows the reality of God and they will not share that reality with you, then your ignorance is a wide open field for them to work out in at the expense of the ignorant. We all got religion, and we're good people basically, but religion has become a hustle now. Sorry. Politics has become a hustle. Education is a hustle. Professions are hustles. off of the ignorance of the masses. Very few of the learned are concerned about the welfare of the poor. If it were so with the learning that we have amassed, if we had any empathy for the suffering of the poor of our people from whom we came, we would pool our resources and lift the poor. This is why Jesus said, blessed are the poor. Wait a minute, Jesus. How is a poor man blessed in poverty? When you open your refrigerator and it looks back at you as you look at it and nothing is in it, you don't call that a blessing. When you can't pay your bills, you don't call that being blessed. So how are the poor blessed? The poor are blessed because Jesus came from the poor for the benefit of the poor. And since Jesus, the man, was the individual that breaks down the partition between man and God so that God can connect with man and man can connect with God, then any bloodsucker of the poor will keep man from Jesus, because in keeping man from Jesus, they keep man from God. And when they keep man from God, they keep man from power. And when they keep man from power, they keep him in the condition that our people are in all over the world. You say, well, Farrakhan, you're a Muslim. How you talking about Jesus like that? When as a Muslim, you should be saying Muhammad. See, when I say Jesus, I already said Muhammad. And when I say Muhammad, I already said Jesus, if you understand. But you don't understand, so I have to break it down. Look. Muhammad is an Arabic word. Jesus is a Greek name.
Listen.
Well, we have to translate. Muhammad in Arabic means one worthy of praise. One praised much. Right?
Yes, sir.
The name Jesus
Come on.
is a name according to Bible. Now we're looking from Bible and we look at Quran and say, what has this got to do with the state of black America? If black people understood Jesus, they'd be free overnight. So said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to us. White folks gave us Jesus, all right. Yes, they did. But they didn't give him to us right. Jesus is the right man. But if they don't give him to you right, you got the right man with the wrong understanding, so you can't quite get it together. And that's the way you're walking through life, you know what I mean? You got the right man, but the wrong understanding. You got the right key, but the wrong lock. You in the right pew, but the wrong church. You all messed up. Just can't seem to get it together. We're going to do that tonight with the help of Allah. Look. The prophet Jesus spoke of one to come after him. Come on now.
That's right.
All right, dear Bible readers. Let's go to quote. Jesus had a great truth, didn't he? You can't deny he was a great man. But what kind of suffering did he endure? Because the Roman authorities did not want him preaching another kingdom that was interfering with their political agenda.
That's right. That's right.
Huh? That Jesus said, there are many things that I could tell you. You can't bear it now. But when he is come, he didn't say, when I come back. He said, when he is come, the Spirit of truth, he will guide you into all truth. Wait a minute now, Jesus. Are you saying that you are not the one to guide us into all truth? I am a sign of that one. I'm 2,000 years too soon. That one comes at the end of the world of the wicked. But I could tell you a lot of things, but you haven't got a foundation yet to bear what God has revealed to me, so it would be a waste of valuable time to cast these pearls before the swine of this day. But when he comes, the Spirit of truth, he will guide you into all truth. He said, I'm going to pray the Father. He said, it is expedient for you that I go away, meaning I die. For if I go not away, the Comforter cannot come unto you. I got to go away because there's another one coming who's going to comfort you. You're going to feel that you're lost when I went away, but when I go away, I'm going to send him unto you in my name. And he's going to testify of me. He's going to make you know me better, but I got to go in order for him to come. But when he comes, or as John the Revelator said, when that seventh angel sounds, the mystery of God will be finished. All right. That's Jesus the prophet. And there's a difference between Jesus prophet, Jesus Messiah. See, the Messiah is not a prophet. The Messiah is head and shoulders above the prophet. The Messiah is the master of the prophets. In fact, the Messiah is he who seals the prophets and makes the prophets' word truth. Because all the prophets could be classified as liars until the Messiah comes in fulfillment of what they wrote. Then he seals them as prophets of God. Do you understand what I'm saying? You say, wait a minute, Farrakhan. You started in economics. And you were quoting figures, you know. And you really showed us how weak our pockets are. Now you done got into this religion stuff. Say, yeah, now I'm going to show you how to put something in your pocket. That's what it got to be about. But we first got to put something in your head. Fill up that vacuum, then the rest will take care of itself. We're not going to be long. But I want you to just follow me now. Prophet Muhammad of Arabia was a man worthy of praise. And his praise continues to today. Jesus of Nazareth was a man worthy of praise. And his praise continues to today. Is that right? Yes, sir. But both both men prophesied one coming. In the sayings of Prophet Muhammad, he prophesied that the Mahdi would come. What does Mahdi mean? Mahdi comes from the Arabic root hadi, which means a guide. A guide. Why you need a guide? Because the people, the sheep of God, are lost. And anytime a sheep gets lost, what does it need? A shepherd. Well, a shepherd ain't a shepherd without guidance. So we got many shepherds that are as lost as their sheep. And that's why the Bible said if the blind lead the blind, both do what? Are we all right? And let's stay together now, because this is going to get beautiful, more beautiful. Thank you, sir. Now, brothers and sisters, look. Prophet Muhammad talked about the coming of Mahdi. And the Mahdi is a human being, but in him is not only guidance, but enormous power. Tremendous power. Why do you say he has tremendous power? Because he will set justice in the earth.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus and Muhammad put truth out, but neither one of them could bring justice. No, listen to me good now.
Think about it.
Is this a just world? Why not? Did Prophet Muhammad deliver the word?
Yes, sir.
Did Jesus deliver the word?
Yes, sir.
Is the word here? Yes, sir. Why aren't the people living by it?
Come on. No, sir.
Because the powers of the world, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
The powers of the world are contrary to what Jesus and Muhammad taught. And the teachings of Jesus and Muhammad and the followers of Jesus and Muhammad don't have the power to enforce the will of God through Jesus and Muhammad on the rulers of the world. And that's why the Islamic rulers bow to the government of Washington. Are you listening to me? Mecca bows here.
Come on.
Rome bows here. Jerusalem bows here. This is the boss here. And Christ don't rule in the White House. Christ don't rule in Congress. If Christ ruled, justice would flow down the mountain like a river, and righteousness like a mighty stream. But it isn't so, is it? Do you know why? Because a prophet cannot deal effectively with a God. A prophet is a servant of God. But the prince of this world, Satan, is the god of his own world. And a prophet can't deal with a god. It takes God to deal with the God of this world. And that's why all the prophets said God will come. God will come.
Come on.
Where's it coming from? Where is he coming from? See, now, from a Christian perspective, if you look at Bible, the Bible in Matthew says, as lightning shineth from the east even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. If you look into Genesis, when the world at that time was destroyed by water, the scripture says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. Everybody's pointing to not the son of a spook, but the son of a man. But he's a man coming with power.
That's right.
Uh-oh. Born of a woman. No. How else is he going to be a man?
That's right. Come on. Go ahead, dear Papa. Come on.
The Son of Man. Well, the Son of Man, that's what we are, aren't we? We're the sons of men. Well, then you are in the image of your Father. Well, that one that comes, from the Christian perspective, he's called the Son of God. Muslims don't agree with that. Muslims say God has no consort. You don't have any female that's hanging out with him and, you know, they get together and have son. That's contrary to the teachings of the Quran. Well, who's right? Who's wrong? Who needs correction here?
Listen.
David the psalmist said, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. You call yourself what? Children of? Are you? Wait. As a child of your father, do you look like your father? You should if you are here. Because sometimes strange things happen, you know. And they may tell you belong to somebody that you don't belong to. Those things happen. But if we are the children of God, God has, according to the Quran, 99 attributes, names, characteristics that tell us about some of the function of God, the nature of God. So if we are the children of God, you should see God's characteristics coming through us to tie us to Him.
That's right. Come on.
Now, you know what? Paul agrees with the Quran. Paul said, listen, talking of Jesus, he said he was the seed of David according to the flesh. But he was declared to be the Son of God according to the Spirit of holiness. Let's stop right there. Who declared it? Who made the declaration? Since Jesus never said, I am the Son of God, they said, who are you? And he questioned them, his disciples, who do they say I am? That means he didn't tell them. Talk to me. Who do they say I am? They said, well, Jesus, they say you are that great prophet who was to come. You are Elijah. And then he looked at Peter and he said, who do you say I am? And Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus didn't declare it. Peter declared it. And when Peter declared it, Jesus said later, on this rock, I'm going to build my community. Oh, it's heavy, man. But what does it all mean? We've been hearing it for years. Again, how does this relate to the state of black America? The black people in America are messed up because of their misunderstanding of Jesus. If our understanding of Jesus could be cleared up, we'd be free almost overnight. White folks gave us a Caucasian Jesus. Come on. Now, I don't blame them. You know, if I wanted somebody to worship me and I wasn't worthy of it, I would just talk about the goodness of Jesus, how wonderful he is. He's the Son of God. Then I'd paint him for you and make him look like me, and then get you to worship me indirectly by worshiping the image of Jesus. And that's why most of you can't rise up against white oppression, because in your subconscious mind you think you're rising up against Jesus. Most of you submit to, bow down to white rule easily, because you've been taught all your life that Jesus is king and Jesus should rule, and you're right. But then when they paint Jesus, make him look like them, and then tell you when you see the Son, you see the Father, then in your subconscious mind you see white folk as natural rulers. And since Jesus is white and Jesus is good, come on, y'all all right? I'm gonna say that again. Since Jesus is white and Jesus is good, then all white flesh is good looking good. But then if that's true, the converse in your mind is also true. Black is what? Ugly, evil. And how do you treat your black self? You treat yourself like you're evil, you're rotten. You're not out here killing white folk. You're killing yourself because you hate yourself.
Wake them up.
Enlightened Christians are now talking about developing a black theology. Why, Christian? How come you just now want to develop a black theology? It's because you recognize that what you've been fed all your life is white supremacy in the name of Jesus. And Brother Malik Zulu, this is what has created the state that we're in. It is our worship falsely of the image of our oppressor. So if white is good, Jesus is good and he's white, then the closer we are in skin color to Jesus, we are good looking. Good looking. But the blacker we are, we ain't so good looking because we ain't white looking. You understand what I'm saying? Jesus have long hair, straight hair, good hair, because Jesus is good. But you ain't got no long hair unless you got a long weave. Some of you have. Wait, don't stone me. I love you. Beloved family, look. We are suffering right now from this sick concept of self that is forced upon us by our misunderstanding of religion. And from that misunderstanding of religion, a whole body of ignorance follows that makes us now walk past a black person in business. Right. spend our money with the white person. Because, after all, you don't deserve my money. You ain't nothing. And I don't want to spend my money with you, because then you'll have a Cadillac. And I'll still be walking. But the white man can have a fleet of them. You don't mind a white man living in the White House. Just don't let a black man build a nice White House on the hill. How did he get it? That nigga up there selling dope. That nigga doing this. But that's your thinking. You're envious and jealous of each other. You're filled with hate of the progress of your own people. You can't salute your brother and say, I'm thankful to God that he blessed us with a brother like you or a sister like you. Your heart is clouded with spiritual diseases of rancor and bitterness. All of it flowing from your misconception of Jesus. That's the state of black America, brother. It's a sick pool of madness that only the living Jesus can heal and cast out these demons from our minds, that we can become a whole and wholesome people again, that we can love each other and come into unity and the power necessary to make a future for ourselves. And so when you read the Bible and it tells you of a black Jesus, you close the book. Check your glasses out, because you ain't reading it right. He had hair like lamb's wool, had feet like burnished brass. He was a black man. And the future Jesus coming is a black man. And that's why the holy prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was getting the world ready to receive a black man. I know you don't like it, but I don't give a damn. Prophet Muhammad said to his own Arab people when he was 80 days before he died, the prophet said, there is no superiority of the Arab over the non-Arab or the white over the black. He stopped there. He didn't talk about the converse. He stopped there. He said, the best of you is he who is most careful of his duty to God. Why did the prophet say that? Because racism had reared its ugly head among the Muslim converts. That's right. They mocked Bilal, who didn't need Prophet Muhammad to tell him that God was one. He was an Ethiopian, and he knew from Ethiopia that God was one. We didn't need Abraham to teach us that God is one. We knew that God was one before Abraham was a thought. And that's why Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am. Oh man, this is wonderful if you understand it. Bilal, an Ethiopian black man, heard Prophet Muhammad teaching that God is one. He knew that God was one, so he went and joined him. Prophet Muhammad said, respect leadership, even if the color is like soot and the hair like dried raisins. What were you telling the Arabs, Prophet Muhammad? Talk to me, man. What were you telling them, Prophet? You were telling them that one day a ruler is going to come, and he's not going to be white.
That's right.
You must learn to respect wisdom, no matter who brings it.
Right.
Prophet Muhammad said that the sun would reverse itself. Instead of rising from the east, it would rise from the west in the latter day. How is the sun going to rise from the west, Prophet Muhammad? The sun has not changed its course. But in the 33rd surah or chapter of the Quran, the Prophet himself is called a light-giving sun. Jesus said in the New Testament, I am the light of the world. And the light of the world is to rise from the west in the latter day with dark skin and nappy hair. And the prophet said that you would see the Mahdi and Jesus would be with him. Prophet Muhammad never talked about his return. He talked about the return of Jesus, and Jesus and the Mahdi would be together. And I say they are together now. Now let me explain, and let's go home. Here you are, a blessed people, a wonderful people, a foolish people, made foolish by the wickedly wise who rule this world. They didn't bring our fathers here to make us equal citizens. They brought us here to make us what? Slaves and burden bearers of white people. Yes. And when they got machines to do the job, if in your intelligence you cannot serve their cause, then they don't need you. So here you've been here 400 years, lost in white people. And they gave you a Jesus through whom they could control all of you and your future forever. They don't mind you singing about Jesus, shouting about Jesus, running up and down the floor about Jesus, just as long as you don't know the real Jesus. They gave you the name. The name is right. They gave you the beauty of his character. That is right. But they never showed you the man. And you see, when the FBI wants to catch somebody, the first thing they do is give you an accurate description of the culprit. He's 6'1", blonde hair, blue eyes, a tattoo on his left shoulder that says, I am that I am. When they get finished describing them, Unsolved Mysteries give you a phone number. You get 1,000 calls. I seen him. I seen him. You can't call nobody and say, I see Jesus. I see him. You don't know who you're looking for. And if he showed up black, you tell him, go back. You ain't the right one. And if he started doing miracles, you tell him, well, I seen that before.
That's right. Come on. Yeah, that's what we do.
I'm almost finished. Why did J. Edgar Hoover? Wait. I can mention his name. He's like a vacuum cleaner. He was always looking for some dirt, sucking up a lot of dirt. He had several bags full. He couldn't help it if he was what he was. He was the chief criminal investigator. And his hatred for black people was so intense that he said he wanted to prevent what? The rise of what? Wait, let's stop here. He didn't say the rise of a Negro leader. He didn't say he wanted to stop the rise of a prominent football player. He said he wanted to prevent the rise of a black what? Messiah. Let's stop on the word Messiah. Let's stop right there. Mr. Hoover, take the witness stand. Yes. Well, it's not nice. It's not nice to speak evil of the dead. But hell, it's good, boy, to be able to talk about these wicked demons. But you see, he's dead. But his madness is alive and well. They got some others carrying on his work. So we can't rejoice over the death of one enemy when he got a cadre that's working off of his mind. He said he wanted to prevent the rise of a black Messiah. Now, Mr. Hoover, what do you know about black nationalism that would make you, Mr. Hoover, fearful of a Messiah coming with nationalistic aims? Now let's think about Hoover. Because he wasn't talking about integrationists. Although he feared Dr. King, who was the premier integrationist. But there's one thing Hoover knew about the great doctor. That the doctor was a living, breathing, intelligent, evolving being. And that what he was is not what he is, and what he is not what he would have become. Because he was moving all the time. So that I have a dream, Dr. King, of 63 was not the man that they killed in 68. The man that was killed in 68 woke up from the dream. And he saw stark reality. And that's why Dr. King is dead today because in February of that same year, the two Georgia sons, Georgia-born Elijah Muhammad and Georgia-born Martin Luther King Jr. sat down for nearly a 6-hour meeting in February. And by April, Dr. King was dead. Dr. King, the most articulate, brilliant, spiritual, loving person. Yeah? But he saw the hypocrisy of a government that talked about a war on poverty and spending a pittance on the poor while spending billions on the war in Vietnam. So when Dr. King started speaking against government policy, then Dr. King became a dangerous man. In fact, the day after Dr. King's speech here in Washington, at the Lincoln Monument, J. Edgar Hoover got a memo on his desk calling Martin Luther King Jr. the most dangerous Negro in America. Why are you dangerous, Dr. King? Because Dr. King had an appeal beyond the black leadership of that time. And that appeal was feared by whites, particularly if they lost what they termed as control of Dr. King, his program, and his agenda. And when Dr. King went against the war in Vietnam, they felt they were losing control. Talk to me. Then he had to be eliminated. Now, brothers and sisters, Malcolm was of the nationalist thought. Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, as a religious teacher, they were of a nationalist thought. What do you mean, nationalist? They see you as a nation within a nation that has no land or territory as a basis for economic and political development. So the nationalists would think that we must have land and a black economy and control of black institutions. Every institution in our community should be controlled by us. That's the nationalist viewpoint. But the nationalist ultimately becomes a Pan-Africanist. Because the nationalist sees black people all over the world as one people. The nationalist sees black people all over the world as one people. And therefore, when we fight on this front for freedom, we can never fight for freedom here and not fight for freedom in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Central and South America, and in the Isles of the Pacific. Y'all all right? Beloved family, he understood the term Messiah. He used it properly because the scriptures foretell a man coming. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and a government shall be upon his shoulders, and he shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Prince of Peace, the Everlasting Father, and of the increase of his government of peace there shall be no end. So he don't come talking about joining a government, he comes bringing a government. And his job is to take you from your allegiance to a wicked government and give you allegiance to a government that he had on his shoulder. That would make him the political enemy of the government of the world. And that's why Jesus had to be dealt with 2,000 years ago, and that's why the Jesus of 1993 has to be dealt with. Listen, listen, listen.
Bring it home. Go ahead. Bring it home. Come on.
My dear family, he used the term Messiah, which is a powerful term.
That's right.
The Quran calls Jesus Isa ibn Maryam al-Masih, Jesus the son of Mary, the Messiah. The Jews today never believed that Jesus of 2,000 years ago was the Messiah.
That's right.
To this very day, they are looking for the Messiah. Come on, talk to me. The Jewish community today doesn't even believe that Jesus of 2,000 years ago was a prophet. They don't believe in the testimony of Jesus of Nazareth as a worthy book from God. Talk to me. And the Jews for Jesus who live in Israel are persecuted by the Israelis.
Go ahead,
Now this is not anti-Semitism. It's just true. Some of you Christian pastors, you will let a Jewish rabbi in your pulpit quicker than you'll let a Muslim in your pulpit. But the Muslim believes in Jesus. He can't even be a Muslim if he doesn't. He not only believes in Jesus, he believes in the scripture brought by Jesus. And the Muslim believes in the Jesus to come. That the Jesus will be with the Mahdi in the judgment of the world. Oh, man. Now let's tie it up. In the Quran, look at the words of Allah and how he describes the work of the Messiah. Listen. First, the Messiah will speak wisdom from the cradle, and he will speak from old age. That's heavy. Because Jesus of 2,000 years ago didn't live to be of old age, but he's speaking. 2,000 years he's speaking. Said to Jesus, listen to him, God would teach him the Torah. Lord have mercy. God would teach him the gospel. God would teach him the book and the wisdom. God would give him the interpretation of things. This is the Jesus. So Jesus this Jesus. He would not only be instructed in the wisdom taught by Moses in the Torah, he would not only know the gospel brought by the historical Jesus, but he would know the book, Quran, and the wisdom of the book, Quran. And he would be taught the, not a, but the interpretation of things. And with that knowledge, he would have a power that would enable him to transform human life. How would he work? Quran says he would open the eyes of the blind by Allah's permission. The Quran says he would open the ears of the deaf by Allah's permission. The Quran says he would raise the dead to life by Allah's permission. He would take clay and fashion it into a bird and breathe into it, and it would become a bird by Allah's permission. That's the Messiah. Now Hoover wanted to prevent the rise of somebody who could save you. That is the pinnacle of wickedness. Here, Hoover's fathers brought you out of Africa.
That's right. Come on.
Hoover's people sentenced you to mental death by robbing us of self-knowledge. This is the greatest crime that white people could have committed against us. Listen, to rob us of the knowledge of self. Take away our history, our connection to our past, so that by not knowing what was, we couldn't determine what is, and we were not ready for what was to come. By that robbery, we would be perpetual slaves of white people, and we would never be able to be redeemed. And that's why Jesus is called Savior. He's called Redeemer. Because he would be willing to pay the price. And the price to save you is death. No man, no woman could be a leader of this people unless you're ready to die for this cause. So fearful are the enemies of your rise that they will prevent the rise of a Messiah to keep you from rising and ascending to your rightful place with God. So the book says, when they crucified Jesus, they put him in a grave. And they put a stone at the mouth of the tomb. And a guard outside the tomb to prevent the rise of a Messiah. But while men slept, an angel came and rolled the stone away. And when they looked, he was up and he was gone. Now what does it all mean, black man? It's all about you. It's all about you and God and Jesus and Muhammad. It's all about getting you up out of this state and making you a great people, a great nation again, with consequences for every human being on this earth once you rise into that which God has purposed for you.
Right.
And so, my beloved, Hoover saw Kwame Ture, the former Stokely Carmichael, a graduate of Howard,
That's right.
a brilliant brother of ours. Kwame Ture, whether you know it or not, is one of the most brilliant young men that we have. Hoover said he looks like he could be one. Step on him. Martin Luther King, he said, yeah, he might be too, just get him too. Malcolm, now Malcolm was a horse of a different stripe. See, Malcolm was stronger than Stokely at that time. And all the civil rights leaders, they couldn't touch Malcolm. Malcolm would put them all in a room and handcuff them with what he knew, including Dr. King. Dr. King could not handle Malcolm because King wanted integration with the slave master.
Come on. That's right.
Malcolm wanted separation from the slave master.
Right.
Malcolm didn't compromise with the crackers. Malcolm was young, his teacher was getting old, so they figured, well, Elijah could be it, but, you know, the evil accident of time, that'll get him. Let's concentrate on Malcolm. You ought to read the FBI files on what they did to the brother to separate Malcolm from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You ought to read it. Why separate him from Elijah Muhammad if he was the real power?
That's right.
You only separate me from the transformer that gives me power if by separating me from my transformer you cut my juice. Then you can deal with me. But as long as I'm plugged into the plug, I'm plugged into the power source, then you better be careful how you handle me. You may get a shot that'll kill you. Boy, the wise in here, they know what I'm talking about. A transformer ain't nothing to play with. Got too much current. Malcolm was plugged into something that gave him the juice that he needed to transform his own life and to transform the lives of those who heard him and became disciplined by what he taught. I don't intend to go into that history. It's painful in our life. But suffice it to say this. Malcolm became disillusioned, hurt. He worked hard for the nation. He did. He was the best minister that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had. Yes, he was. He was the man that lifted the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
Elijah Muhammad was not the most articulate. Just like Moses. Moses didn't speak a distinct language, but God gave Aaron to Moses because Aaron could speak well, but Moses couldn't. But Moses was the man. When Moses put up an excuse, look, I can't talk, he said, who made your mouth?
Go ahead.
Just taking his excuse away, but he gave him his brother Aaron.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Malcolm was a mouthpiece for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why everything he said, he prefaced it with these words. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, because the Elijah Muhammad taught him. I was with Malcolm when he went to Harvard and whooped this black lawyer that they had in debate. I was with him at Yale. I was with him in a lot of his college engagements. And nobody had handled Malcolm. No reporter could handle him. But when they separated him from that which gave him power, then they could manipulate, handle. He got confused. He really got lost.
That's right.
Some of you think that he really found himself. No, I'm not making no mockery. I wouldn't do that. Because the only reason I'm alive is because Malcolm went in front of me. The only reason I'm alive today is because Malcolm was an example for me. The last conversation I ever held with Malcolm, we were sitting in his blue Oldsmobile, the same one that's now in Malcolm X College in Chicago. And Malcolm said to me, as God is my witness, he said, Brother Lewis, he said, I wish it was you being an example for me rather than me being an example for you. And he named all the enemies that I would have that were his enemies, and he didn't lie, he knew. Malcolm knew my future before I knew it, and he knew that I would be the one that would replace him. He knew that his life and his death would be an example for me. And if it were not for that example, I'd be dead right now. But I learned from my brother. I learned from his knowledge, and I learned from his mistakes. That is why God allows some men to make mistakes so that others may walk more perfect before God. Moses made a mistake that Jesus may walk perfect. Moses got carried away with the power of his rod and started speaking independently. Must I strike this rock and bring forth water? Go to God, say, oh, really? Oh. And for that mistake, God deprived Moses of the promised land. But Jesus never spoke out of turn. If you study Jesus, he was the perennial, perpetual, humble servant of God. Listen to his words. I don't speak of myself, but whatever the Father gives me, that I speak. He said, I can do nothing of myself, but whatever the Father bids me do, that I do. They said, good master. He said, why callest thou me good? There's none good but the Father. Jesus never taught you to worship him. That is your mistake, not Jesus's. Jesus said, quote, God is a spirit, and ye that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, for such the Father seeketh. He wasn't seeking no worshipers for himself. He was a servant of God from the beginning, and even when he was exalted in power, he was a servant of God in the end. So, Mr. Hoover, you wanted to prevent this black Messiah. How did you want to do it? You wanted to discredit every black person that rose up with influence. You wanted to set traps for them. If you could kill them, you would. If you could cause dissension in their ranks, you would. If you could split one and make one fight the other, you would. That is the tricks of this demon. Martin is gone. Malcolm is gone. Elijah is gone from us. Martin Luther King's organization, for all intents and purposes, is non-existent.
That's right.
Malcolm's OAAU is gone for all intents and purposes. Garvey's group is gone for all intents and purposes. The Morris Science Group is gone for all intents. But I mean, someone's here to represent. There's always a remnant to represent.
Right.
But the body is gone because the government don't want no black organization with strength. The NAACP is weak today. The Urban League is weak today. The Civil Rights Group is weak today because the government has worked against black leadership.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But check it out. Elijah Muhammad told me, I'm going away, brother. He said, don't change the teachings while I'm gone. And if you are faithful when I return, I will reveal the new teaching through you. I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, brother, there'll be two of us backing you up, Allah and myself. He said, but remember, brother, we're not going to back you up in wrong, only in right. Elijah Muhammad was gone. The nation went down. And I went down with it. I never thought I could fall. I never thought that a man that hadn't smoked and hadn't drank and hadn't done the things that I used to do could go back and do that again. But the scripture said, behold, the dog returned to his vomit, and the sow once clean to the muck and the mire. We fell back down. I was among those who fell down. That's why I know that God is in favor of sinners. Because I went up, and when my teacher was gone, I fell back down. I didn't go all the way. I got to tell the truth.
Come on.
I got to tell the truth, brother. But can you imagine Farrakhan with long hair and braids? Can you imagine me with a cigar in my mouth? Can you imagine me with a bottle of rum? You can't imagine it. I can't either, tell you the truth. They say, well, why are you telling us this, man? We didn't know this. What the hell? I'm telling you this so you don't get no false picture of me. I didn't fall down out of heaven. I rose up out of hell like you. And if God would bless me to come up out of this muck, this mire, this filth, to be who and what I am today, what about you? I don't have no power on my own to do nothing.
Good teaching, sir. Got it. Good teaching.
But on the third day,
Go ahead. Come on.
he rose again.
That's right.
But he rose in me. I don't need no applause. I just want you to think, because I'm a living witness now. See, my work testifies. I ain't got to testify.
All right.
The nation was gone, dead, destroyed. The white man changed the language. We didn't talk black no more.
No.
You became the disadvantaged, the minority, the underclass. Then you became the African American, whatever the hell that is. Look at you. Somebody from up top changing the language. You're no longer black, which would tie you with black people all over the world, but when you become an African American, you may be tied more to America than to Africa, and certainly not tied to the Caribbean and to your brothers in Central America and in Brazil, in South America, in the Isles of the Pacific. They were cutting you off from connection to your international dimensions or dimensions, and you willingly went along with it. How could you become an African American? Tell me.
Come on.
Well, wait just a minute. Well, I am an African. Who said so?
Come on. Go ahead. Teach on that. Teach on it. Teach us, dear.
You mad with me?
No, sir. Come on with it.
Were you in existence before the continent called Africa was named Africa? Answer me. Well, then, if you were in existence before that continent was named Africa and this place was named America, how in the hell can you be an African American when you were in existence before both of those words? I know you don't like it, but like I say, I don't care. You let this enemy limit you. How did Americo Vespucci an Italian make you an American?
Go ahead, dear Father.
Brothers, sisters, look here, man. Excuse me. Look here, brother and sister. Minister getting hip. Excuse me. Look, wait. I want you to think about this. Look. You see this flesh? You cannot define me by my flesh. I was before flesh. I shall be after flesh. Don't define me by flesh, because when you only define me by that which limits me, then you limit me, and I allow myself to be limited by your definition of me. You call it nationality. Wait a minute. So my brother from Jamaica, man. What's wrong with you, man? The man said, me a Jamaican, man. How you become a Jamaican, man? How you become a Jamaican? Who gave you that name? Were you in existence before Jamaica became Jamaica? You gonna let that tiny island define you? I'm a Trinidadian. I'm a Kittian. I'm from Tobago. I'm from Barbados. I'm from Central America. I'm from Dominica. I'm from Sudan. I'm from Somalia. I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm from Palestine. Shut up! You don't know where the hell you're from. You're gonna let some cracker put some lines on a planet and call it by some strange name, and then you're going to define yourself by that limitation. There is no Jamaica. That's my father's home, that island. But you don't define me by Jamaica, and you don't define me by Africa. I am more than the earth. Oh, please. How do you mean, Farrakhan?
Tell it.
The earth is only 196,940,000 square miles.
Work with it. Go ahead. Yeah.
You say if I'm born in Jamaica, where will I die? And will that part of the earth accept my body? Or will it say you're a non-citizen, you can't be buried here? You're not from Jamaica, you're not from China, you're not from Japan, you're not from Africa, you're from the earth, but even more than that. You are a direct descendant of him who originated the heavens and the earth, so you cannot be defined by no limiting land mass. I'm going to leave that alone. But for the purpose, see, as long as you say I'm a Jamaican, and the Jamaicans don't like the Barbadians, and the Barbadians don't like the Trinidadians, and the Trinidadians don't like the people from Suriname, or from Guyana, or the people in northern Sudan don't like the people in southern Sudan, or the people in Egypt don't like the Sudanese, and the Libyans don't like the Moroccans, and the Moroccans don't like the Tunisians, and all of this is madness. We are a people, one people. And it takes a higher knowledge to uproot the limited ignorance that has set us apart one from the other. And that's why he wanted to prevent the rise of a Messiah. I want you to look. I'm a student of Elijah. And today, by the grace of God, tens of thousands of people come to hear Farrakhan.
That's right.
He's not an entertainer. He's a teacher.
Yes, sir.
Please listen. Please listen. I'm your brother.
Yes, sir.
But when I speak, your eyes come open. When I speak, if your ear is open and your heart inclines to me, to the word, then the word goes in. And all of a sudden, a change starts taking place within you. You may not join no nation. You don't have to join the nation. You're part of the nation.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I don't feel like changing my religion. I'm a Baptist. Stay there. But you ain't gonna be the same old Baptist that you were. Not after we get finished with you. You want to stay in the Catholic Church? Stay there, but you're not going to be the same old Catholic.
That's right.
You're going to be new.
That's right.
And beautiful. And powerful. Yes, and improved. This may sound like a person who is trying to blow his own horn, but man, look, our brothers and sisters, I want you to know that I'm so far removed from vanity. I know I'm just here for a season, but my people will be here. And I'm only here to do what I'm here to do. And then I will leave, but what I am will never die.
That's right. Right.
Because what I am is not physical.
Yes, sir.
What I am is spiritual. And what you are is not physical. What you are is spiritual. And if you would rise above the physical limitations that limit you into the limitless, boundless spirituality of the original people of the earth, the direct descendants of God, then you rise from mortality into immortality. Yes, you rise from finity into infinity. You can never die once you rise above the limit imposed by flesh considerations. And so, beloved, if you bear with me just for 5 minutes, I want to conclude. Please don't move. I want to conclude by saying that Louis Farrakhan, by the grace of God, is rebuilding the nation of Islam by the guidance of Allah coming through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. These young men that are around me, you look at them, and women, their lives are being transformed.
Yes, sir.
Many of you know that the brothers have gone into certain areas of the city where it was drug infested. But the presence of the brothers has decreased crime. Not because we have guns.
That's right.
Although the brothers are licensed to carry guns, they don't do that. Because we don't come to our people with guns.
That's right. Yes, sir.
You're not an animal. Even though you act like that sometimes. No, it's true.
That's right.
But you are not that at the core. You're really the righteous. And we come to you out of the same muck and the mire that you may still be in. But we don't come to throw off on you. We come to show you, look, man, we rose from that.
Right.
You too can rise.
That's right. Sir.
We are not begging white folks to provide a future for us. We are determined to provide a future for ourselves and our people. So I want you to consider this as a solution to the problem. As a solution. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Solution. I can say it in just a few words. Solution. Listen to the solution. In the book of John, it goes like this. In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was God. And all that was created by Him. And that Word became flesh. And that flesh dwelled among men. Stop. That's solution. Ah, come on, Farrakhan. I've been reading that for a long time. How's that a solution? Where you are right now, brothers and sisters, is your beginning, your Genesis. You are at the Genesis, the beginning of a brand new life and world for yourself tonight. It's Genesis for you. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, meaning new spiritual and political leadership. This is not the same Marion Barry. No, I don't want you to clap. I want you to listen to me. I love that man, and I admire that man, and I would vote for that man. Why I say that? Well, look here, Farrakhan, don't you know he did that and he did that? Hold it! I did this, and I did that, and I did some of the other. But I have been redeemed and have become a redeemer. My brother, when he was mayor, he did his best to fight for us. But listen, in fighting for us, he had serious limitations. And one of the serious limitations that he had was an inferior knowledge of himself and of his relationship to God. That man has been and is in the process of being transformed. He's not the same Marion Barry. He's a new creature, being made new, a better servant tomorrow and today than yesterday. Now you gave him a chance. You voted for him. He will not let you down by the help of God. Sitting beside him is Rock Newman. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. But he's the manager of the new heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. Now Riddick Bowe is no lightweight, he's a heavyweight. He's an intelligent man, but he needs right guidance. That's right. He needs a stronger connection to God. Because the more you're rooted in God, then the things around you don't overcome you. Money won't overcome you. Power won't overcome you. Cadillac, limousines, diamonds, all the things you can buy, the women, everything that come at you, you can survive if you become more spiritual minded. I'm not saying join Farrakhan. I'm saying get closer to God. You understand what I'm saying? Now hold on. I'm right at the door now. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. That's what's wrong. Mayor Barry, darkness, ignorance had covered the deepest part of our consciousness, down into the subconscious, that nothing was rising from the subconscious into the conscious because darkness was upon the face of the deep. But the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. What is the brain composed of? It's water. Come on with it. How did the Spirit of God move on the face of the waters? And God said, let there be light. How you gonna make light, God? I'm gonna make a man from dust. And I'm gonna breathe into that man. Not just air, but breathe into his ears the inspiration of my word and my guidance. And I'm gonna give him power and dominion. And then I'm gonna tell him to multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. And the light, he saw the light that it was good. And he separated the light from the darkness. And one part he called day, and the other part he called night. And the Quran said the day is made for man to rise up again, and the night is made for sleep and rest. So there's a part of each of us that is dark, and there's a part that is light. And we got to separate the light from the darkness and stay in the day, lest we lapse into rest and sleep forever. In the Genesis, in the beginning was the Word. When I met Malcolm, all Malcolm had was the Word. And when I started to rebuild the work of Elijah Muhammad, all I had was the Word. But the Word was with God when he came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Why do you say, Farrakhan, God came in the person of a man? How can a man be God?
Come on. Come on. Make it free. Come on. Come on.
Dear Muslims, dear Christians, the earth is a physical reality. The universe is a physical reality sustained by an unseen reality. The unseen force is manifested through what you see. If there were no universe, there would be no testimony to the reality of God. If there were no material matter, there would be nothing for energy to be manifest through. If there is no flesh, there is nothing for spirit to be manifest in. So God is the life giver. That's one of his attributes. He's the raiser of the dead. That's another one of his attributes. So if I, as a man, can speak a word to you who are mentally dead and you are raised from the dead, I didn't do it. It's God working in me for your benefit. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So when Elijah Muhammad said God came in the person of a man, the water came in the glass.
That's right.
The glass don't look too clean, by the way. Well, I guess it's like me. Clear, but not totally clean yet. But I'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
I hope, and so will you. I don't want to say that I'm dirty now. But since all of us have fallen short of the glory of God, and nobody talk about their righteousness. You understand? Now look at this glass. It's got water in it. The glass is only important. It's crystal. It looks nice, nice shape. But hell, I can't drink the crystal. I need the water. Now, whatever it comes in might be attractive. You could bring it in a plastic cup. I'm not interested in the vessel. I'm interested in what's in it. Well, if the power to raise the dead comes in the crystal, then the water came and the power was in the crystal.
Come on.
The guidance was in the crystal.
Come on. Go ahead.
If Master Farad Muhammad had the power to raise the dead, then God came in his person.
Yes,
God's in my person.
yes, sir. That's right. That's right. Come on.
God can be in your person. Do you want to let him in? If you let him in, then you got power. Look at the scripture. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I can boast like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, dear Pastor.
Because I know that greater is he that is in me, because I withstand the world. Look at how they came against me, Mayor Barry.
Yes, sir.
They don't like Farrakhan. Do Farrakhan look like he worried?
No, sir. Come on.
Do I look like I'm aging with grief? Because white folks, some of them don't like me.
No, sir. You look good, sir.
Hell, I do look good.
Yes, right.
I'll be 60 years old
Go ahead, dear Pastor.
2 months from now.
Praise you.
And I hope that you will be as good looking
I hope so.
at 60.
Go ahead, sir.
If you fool around with me, I may look better at 80.
All right.
Well, I met him who it is written of that he came to give us life in abundance.
That's right.
I met the man.
Come on.
I don't talk about Jesus. I know him.
That's right. Listen.
He's in me.
Yes, Yes, sir.
He walks with me. He talks with me. He's my friend. That's why I don't fear white folks. Because I got a power with me that's bigger than them. And I don't act like I'm afraid. I speak what's on my mind. I tell the world what I think, what I feel, what I know. Because you can't do nothing to me that God don't permit you to do. Don't you understand? God is in the Word. And if you let the Word in, God comes in. Then force and power is in you to overcome the drugs, overcome the alcohol, overcome the lust for things to the detriment of human life. When the Word comes in, respect for self and God and your woman comes in. Let the Word in. Don't fight the Word. If you know that I'm right in what I've said to you tonight, don't turn me down because white folk don't like me. Don't turn me down because they call me a hater or an anti-Semite. You're not turning me down because who is me?
Think about it.
The me that you're turning down is God. Because God is what I'm talking about. God is what I live for. God is who I am a part of. I don't know nothing but God. I don't bow down to nothing or no one but God. He's all that I have. He's all that I am and all that I would ever want to be. Let him in and let him make something out of you like he's making something out of me. Do you understand? The solution is accept the Word. And when you accept the Word, you accept power, light, and life. And you'll be transformed overnight from that so-called Negro to a living man and a living woman. Growing intelligence. Then you begin to feed your mind, not the garbage of television, but feed your mind on the worthwhile things. And then you begin to grow until you become a manifestation of the God that you worship.
Yes, sir. Beautiful.
And Jesus went up on the mount. And there was a place for Elijah, a place for Moses. And he was transfigured on the mount. And a dove came down and a voice was heard to speak, saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." If you would let him in, then Satan and the demons of self go out. Because two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. The more God comes in and Satan goes out, there's a transfiguration of the person so that the figure of God, his attributes, start coming right across you. That's what makes Farrakhan magnetic. It is not I. It is God within. And I pray that he will never take his spirit from me. I pray that he will always allow me the blessing of being under his protection, his care, his love, his mercy, and fill me with his spirit that I may fill his people with the same. That together we can come out of the state that black America is in and make a new beginning, a new Genesis. And from us will come a brand new world. And so it is. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Prayer. Prayer.